housing, shelter is a basic need, okay? Listen to what I'm saying to you. There are a few things that people just really need to survive, and shelter is one of them. For many people, we are the key for them securing one of those basic needs. Hey friends, I'm Rosemary Lewis, your homegirl, and I'm so excited that you are here. I do not care what it looks like on Instagram or HGTV. This whole being a realtor thing is not for the faint at heart. In 2017, I quit my job as a teacher to follow my real estate dreams and quickly found myself overwhelmed and struggling. Fast forward to today, not only have I been recognized as one of the leaders in our industry, I have actually grown a business that I absolutely love. I don't care if you're a brand new agent trying to figure out how to get started or a veteran feeling overwhelmed and just stuck. I was just like you, and I totally get it. Many times I wish there was someone that I could just talk to about all the challenges I was facing. And that is why I created this space just for you. Like best friends do, I'm giving you all the tea related to navigating and thriving in these real estate streets. If I can do it, guess what? That's proof that you can too. Everything's better with friends, so let's succeed together. Welcome to the Real Estate Bestie Podcast. Well, hello there, bestie. Welcome to episode number 158, where we are going to talk about the 8 Ds of real estate. Now, I know on the last episode, if you listen to episode number 156, I said that I was going to tell you about the 7 Ds. Oopsie, it's actually 8 that I'm going to talk about today. But before we get into it, first of all, let me welcome you to the podcast. If this is your first time here with us, hey girl, hey, we have just officially become real estate besties. I'm Rosemary. I am a local real estate agent, associate broker with EXP, serving the far north Dallas area. And y'all, I do not do a good enough job of telling you all that. Sometimes I will read reviews, you all will get in my inbox, and you're like, girl, where are you at? And there are some besties right here in my market, and y'all don't even know that we are neighbors and cousins. So I serve far north Dallas. I have a real estate team of besties that are always here for your referrals. We're always here to support your clients. A lot is going on in Dallas. So if you ever have anybody and you want to, send them to a team that's going to take real good care of them and keep you updated on all the things that's happening, we're your girls. So you can always email us at support@rosemarylewis.com with your referrals. But speaking of reviews, because let me tell you something, I read every single real estate bestie review, and we are really close to getting to 100,000 downloads, y'all, in the podcast world. That is a big deal, especially for a little podcast that the Lord dropped in my heart. And look at me minimizing what God has done. I'm not going to call it little. When I first started this, I was like, if 100 people listen a month, I'm Gucci, and y'all show up in droves. We get thousands of downloads per month, and I'm so grateful. And listen, but out of all of those, we have like 100 and something reviews. And I just got this review. I read every single one. It is from my girl, Victoria B in North Carolina. Shout out to North Carolina. Y'all are like the second or third most y'all are besties. Like y'all are here for it. And I really think that we are going, as a matter of fact, me and my team are really working on getting to North Carolina before the end of this year and doing like a one-day mastermind. So we will keep you updated on that. And if you're close to North Carolina, let us know. Again, hit up support@rosemarylewis.com and we'll get that information out to you. But my girl, Victoria, she said, as a newer real estate agent, I truly appreciate Real Estate Bestie podcast. It's full of so much helpful information and keeps me inspired and motivated. Rosemary tells it like it is, no sugarcoating, because let's face it, real estate is not easy and not always peaches and cream. I highly recommend this podcast to any real estate agent looking to learn and gain a different perspective. 10 out of 10 recommend. Oh, Victoria, thank you so much, because let me tell you something. Let me preach a little bit. I've been in this business for 7 years, done all the things, get the podcast and all that, but your girl needs some encouragement too. And not only do I need encouragement, but when you take, a minute and a half out of your day to actually leave a review for the podcast, what it does is that it tells the algorithm, like, we need to push this out to more people. And then we find our besties, or our besties find us. So thank you so much, Victoria. Thank you to everyone else who has left a review for the podcast. And if you have never, ever left a review, you know what? I know you busy, girl. I know you are out here trying to drink your water. I know you out here, doing these exercises. You are prospecting your leads. I know life has been busy. So I am not mad at you, but I would appreciate if you would just hit the pause button right now. I swear for God. Maybe you're not supposed to swear to God. I promise you that I will be right here when you get back. But if you could just drop a quick line, like hit that 5 stars, it will mean more to me and more to the besties than I could ever articulate. And then if you're listening on YouTube, hit the thumbs up, all the things, and share it. Share this episode. And share this episode in particular because let me just tell you something as we talk about the 8 Ds of real estate. I wanted to talk through this topic because if we are not careful, right, especially if you are having a tough time getting started or a tough time knowing what to do, or maybe you have been in production, but business has looked different. Every relationship goes through its peaks and its, and its down seasons, right? And your relationship with your business may be where you hit a peak in 2021, 2022. And, now you feel like you're in a pit and you might even begin to tell yourself, ain't nobody out here buying houses and interest rates are too high and this and that and that and that. And here is the reality, friend. And I share this with my coaching groups, Accelerate Coaching. I share it anytime that I'm doing courses, is that we really have to watch our mindset. And no, actually, we have to do more than watch our mindset. We have to train our mindset, especially in this business, because entrepreneurship ain't no joke. Real estate is really not any joke, right? And I feel like we are always in the news. Like the housing market is always in the news. And unfortunately, it's not always a pretty narrative. And what that can do, especially if you are in a season where just things aren't clicking, you can begin to believe, I should get out the business because ain't nobody buying houses. But the reality, let me share with you the reality. The reality is that housing, shelter is a basic need, okay? Listen to what I'm saying to you. There are a few things that people just really need to survive, and shelter is one of them. For many people, we are the key for them securing one of those basic needs. And then just on your, as you are out and about today, right, or tomorrow, I promise you, you cannot go too far from where you live without seeing 2 things, right? People and houses, right? Every time I drive, anytime I try to, the enemy tries to make me think that this business is the pits and, I should just hang it up. I literally just take a drive through my neighborhood, right? And I'm like, listen, if I was able to sell all these houses, I couldn't, because there are over 1,000 houses in my name. And I'm not talking like my city. I'm talking like my subdivision, right? Then if I go out to the city and you see more and more houses, it's just evidence, right? You have to look at the evidence. All these people got to live somewhere, right? And I see people running down the street. I see people walking. So people and houses. So the more that you train your mind to understand that, yes, will you have to dig deep, right? Is the business, in a situation now we have to work for it because there was a lot of low hanging fruit at one point? Absolutely. It looks a little different. However, I do not want you to believe the lie that ain't nobody. I hate it when people be like, ain't no good men out here. The devil is a liar. It is. And if you one of the people right now, you saying ain't no good men out here, or ain't no good restaurants, or ain't no good this, ain't no, we cannot put a blanketed statement on, a generalization on everything, because there are always going to be variables. And in our profession, this definitely, there are so many variables that actually point to the exact opposite of what the media tries to point out to us. So I'm just letting you know that right now. So with that being said, I'm going to share with you, like, there are some reasons that I don't care what's happening with interest rates. I don't care what's happening with the economy. I don't care if it's an election year. I don't care if we're in the middle of a global pandemic. I don't care, you know what I'm saying, if you drinking your water or not. There are some reasons where people are going to have to transition and buy or sell real estate, right? And there are some times when, like, it's a want. And a lot of times, and a lot of these that I'm talking about are really, I have heard that sellers look, there will become things where sellers have to sell. And for buyers, a lot of times it's a convenience, right? They don't have to buy, they can rent, they can do something else. But there are different things that come up in life where there is definitely a greater need. And I want to identify some of these needs for you so that you can honestly start to retrain your mindset. And you never know, you might find a niche in this. Okay. You just might find a niche in one of these D's. So let's talk about the 8 D's of real estate. These are just some that I have identified just through coaching, through training, through my own business. And like, let's just talk about them. These are reasons why people will have to buy or sell. So here is the first one. I hate to start off on a somber note, but the first D is death. Okay. The first D is death. When someone experiences a death, I'm not saying that it is an absolute that they will sell their house, but we do see a lot of transactions happen because of the loss of a family member, the loss of a loved one, or something like that. Okay. So I was actually just on the phone yesterday. One of my old supervisors, I used to work, y'all know I used to be a teacher, and for about 7 years, I actually didn't do a traditional classroom. I was a part of a state pre-K class, and I taught like state pre-K for like this agency. So I had a supervisor, not a principal, whole long story. But anywho, still in contact with my supervisor, even though I haven't worked with her in like 15 years. But y'all, her husband passed away suddenly last year. It was actually 10 months ago. She and I just talked about it on yesterday. Now, she is not even in my market. And here's another thing. Like, I was on social media just giving some tips, like some thoughts for people who are looking to purchase. And she's not even in my market. I'm in Texas. She's in Illinois. But I said something that struck a chord with her, and she reached out and called me. So y'all, this is why y'all need to be on social media talking that talk. I'll talk about that on another podcast. But anywho, her husband passed away, and she was really just talking through, like what next steps might be, because the reality is that the home may not suit her anymore now that her husband has passed away, and she never would have thought about selling if it was not for the death. Okay. So death is definitely one of the D's that brings things up. My husband specializes in investments. He gets a lot of business like this, like when grandma dies or great grandpa die and they don't know what to do with their homestead, or maybe they had different properties and now they want to liquidate. Death is definitely one that will cause people to sell. Okay. All right. Number 2, I feel like I'm sticking with like the non-happy. Well, yeah, the non-happy ones, but here we go. Divorce. Y'all, I have had a lot of experience with divorce, with helping people sell their properties, especially since COVID, right? COVID was really, really hard on families, and there have been a lot of families going through transitions. And I'm really thinking now, like, I need to do like an emotional conversation. We're going to do a podcast just about how to control your emotions, because the first 2 that we're talking about, right? Death and divorce, like, these are like high stress activities for our clients, and that stress can spill into our life. So yes, I am going to do a podcast, just talk about how to manage. But for the sake of this, just one of the D's is that, when people are splitting up, then a lot of time they're going to split that real property and choose to sell it. So that is one of the things, like I'm working with a family right now where, it does not they have to get rid of the house because, they just have to, right? One person cannot stay. It just didn't make sense. So divorce is one. And there are actually like courses that you can take through your local board that will show you how to best support these families that are splitting up. Now, I do want to say this, and I can't tell you how to run your business, but definitely have some compassion, because understand, like, and we talked about this in the last episode, that when I talked about what I hate about real estate is that sometimes we can be so amped up about our bottom line, like getting listings and doing this and doing that, that we're not always taking into account that people are going through real life drama. So pretty much, I don't want you to be an ambulance chaser or like a drama chaser, but definitely, having empathy and understanding that divorce is one of those things that people are going to have to buy or sell. Okay, next one is debt and distress. I'm putting these together because the reality is that sometimes folks are in over their head. Well, I shouldn't even say in over their heads. Like, I have so many people that, especially in Texas, right, where our property value, first of all, our property taxes are already aggressive, and then property values have gone up. So sometimes things happen where people just can no longer afford their lives. Or I was having a conversation with someone once, and, they had a medical issue, and then the husband got laid off, and, like literally in the course of like 4 months, they ended up falling behind. And what made the most sense was selling the house. And I really want you to be sensitive here, because when somebody is in a lot of debt or the property is distressed, so I'm using distress in two ways, like the property being distressed, but also they're in a distressed situation because of debt. It can be so stressful. And there needs to be just a lot of patience. And unfortunately, what I have seen happen time and time again is that sometimes we have clients or potential clients, customers, who, like, the logical step is to sell the house. But man, that's a hard decision to make, right? They feel like they're failing. They feel like they failed their kids. And unfortunately, what happens is sometimes that decision is so hard to make that they don't make it and end up in a situation where now they have to fire sale or the bank is going to take the house. So definitely, especially like if you are in an area or if you've seen that like the affordability is just getting really tough for people who are already in their homes, I'm going to encourage you to just start putting out content and having conversations and educating people on, you know what? I've been there before. I always tell people about when me and my husband foreclosed our house, because in life be life, and like I understand life be life, and I don't want to seem like this super, baller real estate agent who's just trying to force you to do something so I can make a commission. No, but what I don't want you to do is be in a situation where you are going to, like, the equity that you have in your house. You did like I tell the people, you did a really good job. And that really good job was, at the time, you made the investment in purchasing a home and you're building equity. And this is what equity is for. This is what real estate is for. So I don't want you to be drowning and swimming in debt and just in over your head and stressed every single month when you have an equity position. So really being able to have those conversations and help people think through what's going to be the best case scenario for them. But again, not having pressure, but giving all the information. All right, here's the next one. Let's turn to like a happy one. Whew, okay. Diapers. So it can be literal diapers, like, hey, I'm pregnant and I need a space. Or this is one that I pretty much specialize in. One of my niches is, people who have maybe purchased their first home, but now as their family is growing, as their kids are getting older, as life is changing, they just need more space, right? Or they're ready to go from their first home to what they deem to be their forever home. So pay close attention to people who are expanding their families, people who, mom might need to move in and things like that. And the house is no longer currently serving them, like your friend who complained every time about, the closet space and this happening and that happening. As families are growing and we're just going to blanket it under diapers, then that is definitely a cause. That's a pain point where people need to get something bigger. Okay. All right, then here's another one. Diamonds. Yay. I actually have a listing coming to market today, and it is because of diamonds. So this particular couple, like, she had a house. They were married. They've been married for about a year and a half, but, and thought that they would be in her house long term, but they want something together, right? So a lot of times when you see a couple who is looking to actually grow in this life together, it's time to transition from renting, or one of them have a house and now they want to get a house together. Like that's the way I was. When me and my husband got married, he had a house, and I mean, that house was cool, but we wanted our place, right? So diamonds is one of the D's of real estate where we see people actually looking to purchase. Okay. So make sure that you are on the lookout for that. And you can even start talking all of these different things that I'm telling you. Like you could throw something in Chat GTP, like, create content geared towards, first time home buyers because they just got married, right? What are 10 talking points for real? So these are all different things. Like you can use all of these D's and come up with different content. Okay. Number 7, y'all with me? Number 7 is downsizing. Okay. So this is another big one where I am, is that, listen, I see these people when these kids hit senior year, they like, okay, and we are out, right? So when it is time, like when the house is too much house, when, they have been waiting to get these kids out through school, or, something has shifted in life and we just don't need as much space, downsizing is another huge one to pay close attention to. And that is something that you see. So either like start having these conversations. This is why you got to stay in contact with people. And like, yo, I have seen people who I think about my old next door neighbors, right? And ironically, she was a real estate agent, so I couldn't get her business. But she bought the house next door knowing that she was going to sell it in 2 years, right? Because I think she had 4 kids. When 2 kids were out of the house, she thought to herself, okay, I need to downsize. Like she was like setting herself up for success. She downsized, and then she bought the house next door with the thought process that I am selling it in 2 years. Like she built a new construction where she went in and got an inventory home, and she didn't build it, but it was already there. She lived there for 2 years. And as soon as her sons graduated from high school, I knew, like I saw them outside doing the yard. I was like, y'all finna move, ain't y'all? And she just started laughing. But downsizing, and I bring up that story is because sometimes like we think the way we think. Like I shouldn't say I've never, because I probably lived in this house longer than any house I lived in now I think about it. But like, I don't want you to think just because someone's been living somewhere a short amount of time that things in their life haven't changed. So this is why you got to stay in front of and on top of your people, right? Like you literally can talk to somebody and think that like in your mind, the house serves them, but there's a pain point or a life change, or someone moves out and they're like, why are we here? And for a lot of parents, they are in a home because of us. I'm the same way. I'm in the home that I'm in because of the school district. If I didn't want to be in this particular school district, then I definitely would expand where I'm living. Even though I like my neighborhood, like I would look at somewhere else. And when Cameron's out of school, I'll probably be way more flexible, right? So definitely downsizing is one of them. And then here's the last one. And I need you to kind of be here with me. Deployment. Okay, just to keep it with the D's, deployment. But I'm not just talking about like deployment in the sense of people, not veterans, but active military. They get deployed all the time. So they get moved from station to station. But I also want you to think of it from the realm of just general relocation, right? People are relocated for their jobs all the time. So this is a have to sell. This is a have to move, right? This is I have to do this. I have a lot of clients who they know like we're going to move, 6 times over the next 10 years because of their track that they are in with work. So this is definitely a different niche that you can focus in on. There are certain, relocation companies, and I will tell you these relocation companies, they do charge a hefty referral fee. However, if you partner with a relocation company and become one of their go-to, like you don't really have to fight for the listing. It's definitely a lucrative way to build your pipeline. And this is even something too, like I have had several clients that I like, let's just say I was their realtor when they purchased their house, and then they went to sell it, or because they were getting relocated for their job. Now the job has recommended a relocation agent. I always let my clients know like, hey, I'm open to working with the relocation company. I would love to have an opportunity to have a conversation with them or something like that. So I just bring that up to you. I bring it up to you because I don't want you to think, oh man, they have a company, I can help them, because you definitely can. You just got to keep your eyes and your ears open for that opportunity. Okay. All right. So let's recap. So the first thing we're going to recap is we are all agreeing. Okay. Say whatever your name is, I, Rosemary Lewis, agree to shift my mindset. I don't care what's happening in the world. There are always reasons why people are going to need to buy and sell real estate. And let's recap what the 8 are that I have identified. Now, there may be more. This is what I'm identifying for you today. So the first D is death. The second is divorce. The third is debt/distress. The fourth is diapers. The fifth, y'all, I can't count. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It was actually 7. Debt and distress are 2 together. I cannot count. I'm numbering these. I know y'all like, that's not 8. Debt and distress should have been 2 separate ones. So let me back it up. The first is death. The second is divorce. The third is debt or distress, right? And they can kind of work hand in hand. Like, are they in debt? Is the property in distress? They can't keep it up? Things like that, okay? The fifth is diapers. The sixth is diamonds. The seventh is downsizing. And the eighth is deployment or relocation. Okay. I really wish y'all could see this paper. Like, I legit numbered it 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8 because debt and distress were 2. So my bad if you were tracking and trying to figure out where I was going. Here we go. We got them. All right. So do me a favor. Go ahead and share this podcast with one of your real life real estate besties. And you know what would be super cool? Go ahead and snap a picture. Tag me on social media. I just recently changed my name on Instagram from Rosemary the Realtor to The Real Estate Bestie. Okay. So, you can find me at The Real Estate Bestie on Instagram. I hope that this is helpful for you. I hope that it helps you just to identify reasons why people will always buy and sell. And more importantly, I hope that it just shifts your mindset so that when you're talking to somebody and they're like, oh, bah humbug, you shouldn't be a realtor, ain't nobody buying houses, interest rates. The devil's a liar. People are buying and selling every single day. And now you know the reasons why they do. Okay. So I hope this was helpful, besties. Love you and have a great, great week. Talk to you soon. If you enjoyed this episode and you have a real life bestie that you think it would resonate with, y'all, do me a favor. Go ahead and hit that share button because you know what? We are better together. Make sure you share the podcast, and I appreciate your reviews. I appreciate you giving me 5 stars more than you know. I'll talk to you next week.